Hello everyone, thank you for watching this video. Today we will continue work on the demos of Spring Framework. Today we will work on demo03 for the use annotations for the beam management. First of all, we add something new for this demo. First one is AOP jar file. I already added this jar file to the library. And the second one is for the configuration file. I added the context schema on the top and these two URL on the top. Okay, so let's look over all the classes. First one is student class. So a student has name and age and two string method inside. And the student service class has a student and a study method. Also a test class for testing. Okay, so let's start. First of all, let's look over the repository and the service repository and service annotations. So these two annotations were used to create the beam object, as same as the component and the controller. So these four annotations were used to create the beam objects. So this code, service value student service 01 is as same as the bin ID student service 01, as same as this code in the configuration file. So as long as we put an annotation here, we don't need put this code in the configuration file anymore. But we have to set up a scanner to use these annotations. So for the scanner, it's a context component scan. So if we want to use the context here, we have to add this context schema on top. So after that, we put the package name in the scanner. So if we want to scan more than one package, we need to put a comma in the middle. After that, we will scan these two package. And when they scan the package, like the service, they will find the student service beam object and create it. Okay, so let's look something more. Okay, let's okay, don't need this one. Okay, so this one, auto where will be found from the scanner, find the beam object by type. So at this point, this auto where this annotation is looking for a student tab beam object from the scanner. So at the scanner, he will find this one because this one is a student tab object. So he will find this one and put this student into the student service beam object. Okay, so let's have a test here. So once we run the test, we can find the student service has a student name is David04 and age is 18. So for this name and age, we set up here with the value annotation. So it's a value annotation with the value at behind. This one is pretty simple. So for the scanners, we can use our own filter for the scanner. So this one, use default filters false. It means we are going to turn off the default filter and set up our own filters here. So this one is include filter annotation and the service package here. So it means we are only going to scan the service annotation in these two package. So do we have everything on with service annotation? No, this one is a repository. So if we run our test here, we will get an error because it cannot scan the student. They can also create the student bin object. Okay, so if we cancel this one and another filter, so this one is using include here. So this one is exclude. So this one means this one they are going to scan everything in this two package except the one with repository annotation. So if we use this scanner and run the test again, we will get another error because they will scan everything, but not the one with repository annotation, not this one. Okay, so that's some scanners. So we will use the first one again. Also, we are going to use this in objects. For student service, the AutoWeird will be find the bin object by type. But at this point, we have more than one student type bin object. So student 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4. So what will happen if we run the test again? So we got an error because it doesn't know which one it should pick. So we have to use another annotation to help him, which called qualifier. So this one has a value of the which is the in object name. So like we are going to use the student 01 here, and we run the test. We have the student 01, David 01. So this one usually works with the AutoWeird. So these two annotations usually works together. And also we can use the resource. So the resource annotation, it works like the AutoWeird and the qualifier. So like these two together. We can have a try here. If we put the resource here, okay, if we don't have this, we only have one available student bin object, which is student 04. So let's run the test. Will be work with student 04. So if the resource, if the resource annotation doesn't have a value behind it, it will be work like the AutoWeird. But you can put a value after resource. And change it to the name. Okay, and run the test. It's a student 01 again. So the resource annotation works like the AutoWeird and the qualifier together. So as long as you put a name at behind it, it will be work as the AutoWeird and the qualifier. Okay, so after these annotations, we will try to do the bin management just with annotations, so nothing else, not even control file, not even this configuration file. So that's a very exciting part. Let's delete. Okay, continue. Okay, now our configuration file is gone. So we have no scanner, nothing. So how can we do make a scanner? We have to create a configuration class. So we create a class, give a name, let's say spring. So for this class, we also need to put some annotations here. So the first one is the configuration. So import something here. And the second one is component. Scan. Also need to import. Okay, now this class became to a configuration class. And this component scan, it's going to set up the package that you want to scan. And for the test, we have to change something here because we no longer have this configuration file. So it's no longer useful. So what we need to do is we're going to use the annotation configure application context, which is this Spring config class. Also import this one. Okay. Okay, we don't have the student 01 anymore. Student 04. Sorry, 01. For the service, student 04. Okay, now this one is working. So we have student service and the student name David04, age of 18. So you can see here, now we have no configuration file anymore. We used everything with annotations. We have an annotation class, configuration class, with the configuration annotation and the configure scan, a component scan annotation. Also, we create everything. We create all the bin objects with our annotation. We set up our field with annotation, and also here with value annotation, and also for the repository and service, there's something more I want to say. For the repository and the service annotation, it works same. They work same, and the controller and the component annotation, they all work same, but in different logical layer. So if we want to separate everything in the different logical layer, we can use like different name for this annotation. Okay, thanks everyone. That's everything for this demo. Thank you for watching. We will see you in demo 04.